Hi everybody! I have a holiday edition sketchbox here, but it's already opened and heavily used, and here's what happened. I lost the video from before because I had to film another like 3 videos in between. So I had a chance to go and test it out and I thought the box was really cool, so why not share what was in there. What came in the box? That was the watercolor cards. I think there are 30 of them in here from Honeymoon. I don't know if it's all cotton or what. I couldn't find information, but it's super cute and I love the tin. It's really, really nice. Then we have 10 sheets of the Peerless watercolor sheets. And it says it's a face tone set, and yeah, it's kind of all, there's not a green or blue. It's all like neutral tones. Those are really, really nice. Then we have an odd looking brush. Yeah, I guess you can make like weird lines with that. Then we have a Sketchbox signature round 6 brush. That one's actually pretty nice, the brush itself. It's a little, if you see the bristles, are slightly going into some directions, but overall it's holding an edge nicely and it's kind of stiff. Then we have a set of 24 water-soluble pencils from Cretacolor. We'll talk about this in a minute. And oh, there's another item. There's the Daniel Smith Artist Masking Fluid. And I think, what do they call this? It's a Kuretake Zig Gold Mica Ink Paste. And it is a paste, like the consistency, it's not really flowing when you put it out, and it dries to, like, I think it's an acrylic base because it doesn't, you can't move it with water once it's dried, but it's really, really, really metallic-y and very bright. And the last item that we have is the Stone Ground Paint Company handmade watercolors, metallic watercolors. So we have the pearl, gold, and red. So let me show you how they look. What the colors look like that it comes with. So we'll start with the face set from Peerless. So we have a nectar, and then we have the makeup, and then we have warm sepia. I think this one is a yellow ochre. Then we have the ripe peach. We have the blush rose pink. Ooh. Hello. That one's a cadmium yellow. Carnation pink. We have the Bismarck brown. And lip smacking pink. So let me show you something, because the paints, they like to spread. These paints, they are like crazy makeup. Do you see how they just start going where they want to? Get some like bright. It likes to travel, and I tried that on a cotton paper, like 100% cotton, and this one I think is like mixed media, so it's got to be a cellulose paper. It goes. When you put it on and it's wet a little bit anywhere, the pigment will travel. So you gotta watch out for that, but it's cool effect, and you can definitely use it in your favor. I feel like it went everywhere. It keeps going. It keeps doing that. Show you what this is before we go to the pencils. So this is the artist masking fluid. The way that it works, you cut off a little end just like you would do for like cake decorations, and the liquid that is coming out, it's a masking fluid which dries like a rubber, and it prevents pigment from traveling on the paper underneath it. So when it's dry and you put the color on top, you can just brush it off or kind of get it off of the paper, and it will leave this white behind. However, did you see what it did? It's all kind of uneven and goopy the way that it comes out, so I don't think I like the way that the applicator works. Maybe I can use it, like open this up and just use it out of here, because I have no control over my line. So let me show you how the pencils look. And the pencils, they are okay on like a watercolor paper or just the paper. It almost works better without the water, even though those are water soluble. I like them better on the black paper, and I'll show you how they look on the black paper too. Let me show you the pencil itself for a second. Since I've used them, I know that there is an issue with like the wood and how they're made. I'll tell you in a second what that is. So there isn't a color on the pencil itself, so I'm guessing you have to buy a set. So that's downside of the sets like this. The wood casing, I don't know if I can find one that does that, but it's like this part is not really like flush with the core. So if it starts wiggling when you're applying it, it breaks the core. I did break this one, and when I looked at the wood here, it was like a little bit split up everywhere. And then this thing was just moving too much and broke off. So that's kind of a bummer. There's another problem. When you sharpen the pencil, sometimes there's like something, like a piece of pigment that's not ground that's left, and it's like scratched the paper. Do you see that? How do you see those white streaks in here? It's scratched by the pencil core. So like, I mean, it's now, I think it's damaged now, the paper underneath, because I made those scratches. And I've noticed that with a few pencils, it's not just one. I mean, they dissolve okay, they just kind of not leaving a lot of pigment behind when they dissolve. And I was using a lot of pressure when I was leaving this pigment behind. It's not like I just like barely put something on. There's definitely enough pencil here. I think they're still usable on like the white paper as a watercolor pencil, because you can keep building it up and you can get the pigment right off of the pencil core to get it on the paper and get the intensity that way. But they are more vibrant when they're not dissolved. Also, they look better when they're just used as pencil on a black paper. Yeah, the paper is like damaged underneath. So I think you'll see like the lines show up where it's damaged more, the pigment will stick to it better. So about this guy, you have got to make sure that it is completely dry before you do anything with this. That's the downside. Also, you probably want to avoid those like large globs of it in places, because this will take forever to dry. And check if our white works. I think it works better. Kind of on dry. I mean, I can do the highlights with it, but I think it's almost easier if you just get it off with the brush, because then you can get enough pigment. Maybe not. What if the tip is like wet? That doesn't work well either. Okay, so yeah, the white is, it kind of sort of works on some colors. Oops, now I'm getting stuff off. On darker colors a little bit better, but it's not like the super awesome white. There you have it. So let's look. Do you see how they all kind of got all washed out, all of these colors? So they do look better when they just, you can use them just like pencil. You don't have to apply water to them if you don't want to. And you can also go like on top, for example, once you dissolve that, you can darken some areas if you wanted to with just the pencil and don't apply water on that. So let me show you how this looks on a black paper, because these guys look a lot better. We're not gonna look at these guys because they are very transparent watercolors and you will not be able to see them on the black paper. You want to use the paper. Here's another thing that I found with these pencils. The paper needs to be kind of more slick, because some of the, if you have black watercolor paper that cold press with texture, it doesn't work as well, because on black paper you really don't want to use water. And I'll show you, like, even so, let's say, I think I'll swatch it out here on this side, but let me show you really quick. See how bright this looks? That's nice. I like that. And then if I go in and I do this, it's like mostly gone. I don't like this, right? And then when it's dried, so like it's mostly gone. It makes no sense to put water in here. When it dries, it kind of creates this film on top. I'm not sure, like, this is a pigment, whatever the binding material inside those pencils, but it's like the pencil on top of that doesn't go when you use the water, dissolve that, and then I'm trying to go back in with more color, and it's kind of not really working, if it makes sense. But let me show you really quick what they really look like on this paper. Okay, see how much better they look? You can actually see the color. Let me show you in comparison with these guys. I mean, right? Kind of all washed out. And this, yay! I don't know, I really like this one much better. So let's see how our sparkly colors look like. And they're really nice. Actually, I really like them. They also, these guys, I think just better for darker paper, or you can put them on top of like darker backgrounds that you've created on a white paper, so you can see them. They're really pretty. They're very shiny. This one you can probably see on the white paper. So this guy is dry, and it dries permanently. So it's this Kuretake gold paste. So when you use it, squeeze out just a little bit, and it is a paste, so you can definitely use water to cut it to be able to use it. Otherwise it's too thick, and like I just said, it dries permanently. But are you ready? Look at this. It's like, where did I put it? Here. You can see it here. Yeah? So that one's really cool. I really like this paste. Let me show you really quick, actually, on this paper. In comparison, if I'm using just the gold, it's just not gonna stand out because it's watercolor. But this one, it stands out, but you can't move it once it's dry. So I don't know how to use this brush, really. But we're gonna try, just to try it. Why not? I think it's supposed to do like, I don't know. You can make like funky tails. Something like that. And so I did a few actually paintings. Let me show you. With these guys, and I didn't use water because that was a disaster. It works even worse on a rough paper or anything that has texture, but it works kind of okay on just the black paper, in like any black paper sketchbook. So that turned out kind of cool. And I'm going to actually make something with these guys, and I'll get back to you. I thought it was a really good combination of watercolor materials. I'm working on hot press 100% cotton paper here from Fabriano. I wanted to paint something that has a lot of warmer colors, since the Peerless watercolor sheets has all the earthy tones. Like I already mentioned, watercolor from Peerless went everywhere. It leaves this beautiful velvety texture behind. It's very staining, so you got to remember when you're working with it, it's not a mistake, you meant this to happen, meaning it's likely to escape, at least in some places, and create a mess. It's fine. Even though I think there are better watercolor pencils out there, I think these guys complemented the watercolor sheets very nicely. They're relatively pigmented, they dissolve nicely, they blend okay. In 24 colors, there are a few extras that look cool, like turquoise or purple colors, and it comes with your standard set of colors and a few skin tones. They're surprisingly pigmented on a black paper if you don't use any water. On the negative side, the wood casing is questionable and the lead breaks inside. They feel dry when they're applied on the paper and crumble a little bit. When sharpened, some particles inside the lead are sharp and can scratch the paper. When water applied on black paper, most pigment disappears. I wouldn't run buying those pencils, but I think I most likely will use them, like in this painting, more to define edges and deepen colors, and maybe on a black watercolor paper. The metallic watercolor I like more on black paper You can add it to any other colors though on white paper to create shimmering effects. The gold paste, that stuff is awesome for accents. It's super pigmented and works both on black and white paper. Remember, it dries permanently, so you don't want to pour a lot of the paste out if you're not going to use it right away. I haven't tried those watercolor postcards yet. I'm going to try them in the next video with a treat from my aunt from Russia. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, love to all, and have a great day.